Hey everyone, this is Bev from Art by Bedell, and I'd like to welcome you back again today. And we are going to work on another page in our new fall journal. Today we're going to be working with pears. So this is the project we're going to be doing. We have a pocket here, and this page is a book page that was taken out of a bird book, and I put the two of them together. Well, they were together, but it was a little bit weak. So I put some washi tape here, and then I folded it so that it was the size that I wanted. So in doing so, I had this big leftover part here. So this was the size that I wanted it, and I took this and I just folded it back. So we're not going to worry about what we're doing with the left side today. We're worrying about the inside of the right side. So we have the pocket with the pears and the basket. And then inside the pocket, we have a pear tag. And there's room for journaling on the back. So I'm going to show you how to make this, how I made this. Start with a piece of brown cardstock. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to tear this to size. So I'm going to start with just tearing off the top. And the size that I have currently is half of an 8.5 by 11, so it's 4 1/4 by 5.5, and we need to get it down because that's too big for an A4 journal page. So even though my journal page size here is much bigger, I'm creating this so that it would fit an A4 page also. So we'll kind of just eye it up and just tear it as far as what size we want here. Now, the size that I have here is approximately 4 by 5.5 to 5 3/4. And from there, I want to take the edges of this, and I have my rub and buff, my gold rub and buff. It's antique gold. And I'm gonna just go around a little bit on my finger and go around the outside edge of my paper. So if you tear it towards you, you get this nice decal edge, and then that is where the rub and buff will be, and it looks pretty good that way. So we get all 4 sides. The next thing I want to do with this is take my stencil that has some leaves on it, and I'll take my palette knife and my gesso, and I'm going to stencil some white onto my brown. I have this leaf and this leaf, the maple leaf, and I'm not sure what this is. But I'm going to put them both about half on, and just a little gesso on my knife, my palette knife, and just like you were frosting a cake, just swipe it down. And then you'll set that aside to dry completely before you can move on. This is what you have. Now that it's all dry, my next part that I want to do is I have some coffee stained copy paper that I had done Labor Day weekend. I had spent the weekend doing up a lot of coffee staining and echo printing. I can leave the link below if you haven't seen that video. But I used a piece of fabric lace for this one. And I want to tear that down to size so that it is something like this. And I'll ink up around the edges of that with some archival jet black ink. We are using black as our accent color, black and gold. And on the side of this, I want to emboss a script with my Versamark pad and my gold embossing powder. So I'll just ink up my script stamp and stamp it on my paper. And then I'll go to my gold powder and sprinkle that on and heat set that. All right, we have that. And I'm going to lay this on my page. Well, first, before I do that, I have a piece of napkin, and I want to tear that to make that smaller. Now, the easiest way to do this is with a paintbrush and some water. Just go right down along the side of your napkin where you want to tear, and then that'll tear off nice and easy, right where you want it to. Okay, so then we have that piece. And I'm just going to attach that to my embossed coffee stain paper with the glue stick. And currently I like my Yoo-Hoo glue stick. I'll take my napkin and apply my glue stick to it. So it's been like all of a sudden Mother Nature turned off the heat and switched us over to fall, just like that. It's been cooler, we've been getting some rain, and that's all good because we really, really needed it. Now, as you'll see on my napkin, something was on the paper. It looks like probably from when I did the gesso with the stencil, but that's okay because even if it shows, it's going to add a little interest, but I think probably the pears will cover it up. We'll turn that over so that doesn't happen again. So now I have my back piece, and I have my first layer that I am going to glue down onto my card. And I'm going to use art glitter glue for this and give it a little tip. Now we don't see the full leaves that we put on here, but we do see the texture around the outside edge. Our next step will be to take our basket, and this basket and the pears and the sunflower are all items that I had sketched the weekend that I was doing all the boiling. In the sample that I had shown you right off the bat when I showed you the page in the book, I had used the bigger pears. There's 2 different sizes of baskets and 2 different sizes of pears. And I'm just going to show you the smaller basket. Let me show you here. Here's the bigger basket. Here's the smaller basket. Here's the bigger pears. Here's the smaller pears. I'm just going to show you the difference between the 2 and how they both work just as nicely. And so I'm going to ink up around the edge of my basket, and then I'm going to take it to my sewing machine, and I'm going to stitch around the 3 edges of my basket, and then I'm going to go all the way around my card, and I will be back. Here we have our stitching all done. The basket's sewn on so it's nice and secure. We cut our threads back a little bit here. I like some of my threads hanging loose, but these are just a little bit too long for me. Then we have our 3 pears, and they're going to go in, let's see, how do we want them in? Something like this. Let's put one tip this way. And inside the basket, I want to put a little bit of raffia here. So I have a piece, and I'm going to fray it. It's a little bit tedious, but it can be done. Okay, so I have it all frayed. I'm going to take my art glitter glue, and I'm going to put some on the bottom edges here where I didn't fray it. And I'm going to stick it down inside my basket. So on this one, I want it to be on the back. On the other one, I did it on the front, and that's cute, but I want this one to be on the back. We'll get it down in our basket, just like so. Here we go. And we will put some art glitter glue on our pears. Them all glued in there. And there we have our pears. Now on the bottom part of this, I would like to add a sunflower. So I sketched some sunflowers also. I have a leaf, I have a sunflower. Now this is the same size as sunflower as I put on the big basket, and it looks cute. It's just probably I should have done another one a size smaller, but it's okay. It'll be fine. So I'm going to ink up around the edges of the sunflower and the leaf, and I'm going to pick a quote or a word. Maybe I'll go with a word on here because we've used up quite a bit of room and we want to go with something smaller. I don't have a small enough fall word for here. The other one had a fall quote on it from Oscar Wilde, and it was, "And all at once summer collapsed into fall." And isn't that the truth? So to this page, this one, we're just going to put an inspirational quote, little words, and it says, "You are your best thing." So let's get our sunflower glued down. Get our leaf underneath it a little bit. Part of it underneath and part of it over top. And then we'll take our little inspirational words. And this is from HG Designs. And we'll put it like right here. So now we have our pocket for our journal page. Now we could take this pocket and let's see. Let's say that this was our page. We're not going to add this to it because we've already have this one. But if you had your pocket ready to go, you would just either glue all 3 sides, the 2 long ones and the bottom, and make a pocket here, or you can make a tuck spot by doing the left side and the bottom. And Then in our tuck spot, we have a pear, and it's not as big as the tag pear that we have. Again, it's sized down in size. You can see that, and it'll go with our smaller pears. So to put on this pear, we would like a eyelet. I have a little scrap of this paper. Not sure where it even came from. It almost looks like some K & Company paper. Scrapbook paper. So I inked up around the edges of that. I'm going to fold that in half, and that's going to be my tab for on top of my pear. And then I'm going to take a black eyelet. My Memories, We Are Memories Keeper tool here. I'm going to put a little bit of glue right up along the inside here just to hold this in place so it doesn't move when I go to put the eyelet on. Then I can poke my hole using the biggest one here and put it down here, making sure we go down far enough that we catch our, yeah, we didn't. So let's slide our tab down in there a little bit further and poke right in that same spot again. And this time we'll be down on our pear before we missed it. Okay, we'll take our black eyelet, we'll put that in, and we'll turn this over and pinch it together. And there we have our eyelet. And on top of that, I want to add some more of our raffia. And we will fray that. Tear those little pieces apart. Just like that. There we go, guys. How's that? We have a really nice little fall page here for our journal. So that would go on your page like that. And this would go here. And then we could take the top part of the pear leaf and hook it onto our panel here. And that'll keep it from falling down in. We forgot our button on this one. I'm thinking that since the basket and the flower, it's enough. We don't need a button down here on this one. We're going to let that be. These panels will be available, the fall panel. I will have them on my Etsy page, but it'll be a panel like this, and you'll get the pear for the tag also with it. And then the back will be finished off so that you can use it for journaling. I want to thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this project, and we shall see you again soon. You have a great day. Bye now.